Situated in the heart of the Mediterranean, Malta offers fulfilment of everyone's dreams. Described as the pearl of the Mediterranean, Malta has an almost perfect climate of all year-round sunshine, temperate winters and long sultry summers. But it also enjoys a well-deserved reputation of being perhaps the most hospitable country in the whole of Europe. A friendly population, the Maltese extend their hand of welcome to foreign residents who quickly find themselves sharing everything this enchanting island has to offer. A vast choice of traditional activities such as festivals and cultural events to every nautical pastime imaginable, and a very broad range of evening entertainment. Malta's small size dictates that nowhere is ever far away, and 5,000 years of civilization and world trading, plus decades of successful tourism, ensure that everyone quickly feels at home in this southernmost piece of Europe. This wonderful old palace was built during the reign of the Grand Master Adrian de Wynyacourt in 1690 on a territory of land known as Tal Balut, Wardia, and it was known at that time as Il Palace Tal Balut. The territory derived its name because of the unusually large trees that could be found in the area, many of which are still surviving today. Some are over 800 years old and have now become a national monument. The palace was originally built as a hunting lodge, which was the fashion in those days, as Wardia was always a paradise for hunting, thanks in main to its high rolling hills, ridges, valleys and rustic wilderness. And most importantly, it was almost uninhabited, and remains so today, except for a tiny farming community. There are some 4 or 5 hunting lodges in Wardia, and all date back to that same era. Over the years, Palace Buzzietta had extensive renovations carried out in keeping with the requirements of the time, and especially so during the last 100 years. The gardens were extensively enlarged and new agriculture was planted and irrigation was put in to reach the furthermost territories, making the whole area look greener and more intensive. In the early 1900s, the palace had installed Malta's very first swimming pool, which was very high and a very deep freshwater pool. Present owners have reduced its height and converted it into an ornamental pond with a cascade of water. The old pool, however, intentionally remains intact. Obviously, a new larger swimming pool was then constructed facing the northwestern monumental porch. The old facade and driveway of Palace Buzzietta is traditionally facing south, whilst its gardens extending down into Balut Valley are facing northwest, from where they enjoy beautiful sunsets, for which Malta in general, and that area in particular, are so famous. The interior of Palace Buzzietta consists of an entrance hall, and to the left of the hall, 2 grand sitting rooms designed for entertaining, a large dining room with mahogany panels sitting 12 to 16 persons, and views of the private garden facing the sunset. On the right-hand side of the hall, you will find a study and a brand new guest toilet with Roman marble tiling, the television room, which previously used to be a winter dining room, and a very large kitchen and breakfast room, leading onto a mezzanine for the servants' quarters. The quarters sleep 4 and has its own bathroom, as well as its own entrance at the side of the palace. The kitchen also has a view of the private gardens and fish pond and faces the sunset. Upstairs is a grand sitting room with Louis XV furniture and a grand piano. This area leads on to the 5 bedrooms. The master bedroom comprises a jacuzzi with an ensuite shower room, a walk-in wardrobe and a vanity area. 2 of the other bedrooms have ensuite bathrooms, whilst the other 2 share a bathroom. All bedrooms are quite large. The palace also has a cottage to the side, which can be used as a security room complete with CCTV. The cottage comprises a bedroom, bathroom, kitchenette and sitting area. And the palace is also equipped with a full burglar alarm system, and heating and cooling of the palace is by air conditioning. It has 3 entrances, one on the front facing sunrise with an electronic gate, and the second on the rear facing sunset with a very long drive enhanced by 12 fountains, and the third on the main road on the side of the palace. From the house, which is built on the backbone of the High Wardeer Ridge, one can observe the 2 Mediterranean seas of Malta. On the western side one can clearly notice the beaches of Golden Sands and Arntafia, and on the other side of the island, the eastern side, one can observe the Sea of St. Paul's Bay and St. Paul's Island in the distance, and from the roof one can even notice the Southern Sea. It is impossible to go through the whole history of all the people who were, in one way or another, visitors to the house, as it played a dominant part throughout the last centuries of being host to prominent visitors to our island. One can mention of special interest Sir Gerald Strickland, who was for some time Governor of Australia in the 1920s and the Prime Minister of Malta in the 1930s. He used to visit his cousin Colonel Roger Strickland, and then Chairman of Malta Airlines. In 1947, Queen Elizabeth, who was still a princess at that time, and Prince Philip, her husband, were entertained in this house. Sir Anthony Eden, immediately before he resigned as Prime Minister of Great Britain, after the Suez Crisis in '56, was also a guest at this house for over a week, when he secretly consulted with Lord Harvey, his Tory Cabinet Secretary. In fact, Lord Harvey, who resided here on his retirement for over 10 years, was the Cabinet Secretary during the Second World War to Sir Winston Churchill, and after the war to Harold Macmillan. Other guests were Marquis Zimmerman of St George's, Princess Alia Ali Khan of the Ali Khan family, who was a guest here just a few years ago. Buzieta Palace has over the years hosted many famous visitors. Indeed, it is the perfect venue for that sort of event.